The San Francisco 49ers getting their coordinator situation all lined up. Brant Boyer, now the new special teams coordinator, coming from New York with his buddy Robert Sala, now official as the defensive coordinator for your San Francisco 49ers. And yeah, the no good, rotten, stinky Chiefs and Eagles back in the Super Bowl this year. We'll get into all the AFC, NFC championship stuff as well right now.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker at BD Peacock at Crocky209. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Love and appreciate all the everydayers out there, and welcome to the new listeners. Hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast. If you already subscribed, hit the thumbs up too, just to say hi. Let us know you're here. It's a new thing I want you guys to do this year because sometimes you forget how many of you guys are listening, where you're listening from, and you hear from us all the time. We don't get to hear from a lot of you guys a lot. So let us know if you ever have any questions, any topics you want us to hit this offseason for the program. Hit us on the comments on YouTube or tweet at us at BD Peacock at Crocky209. Find us on all the socials there. This episode of Locked On 49ers is brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers can bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Let's start with the good news, because the bad news is who's playing in the Super Bowl. Everybody was rooting for the Bills and Commanders, especially the 49ers fans out there. I know that. But Brant Boyer, special teams coordinator from the New York Jets. Robert Sala knows him well. I'm sure the timing lined up here to where it sounds like Robert Sala gave him a huge boost of backing and confidence for Kyle Shanahan to hire Brant Boyer, longtime special teams coordinator for the New York Jets. Now joining Saleh on the opposite coast here with the San Francisco 49ers as special teams coordinator. Croc. So coaching staff coming together.
Coaching staff is coming together. And I'd say that those were two key positions that 49er fans desperately wanted the 49ers to really address. And I saw the excitement amongst the 49er fan base when Robert Sala was hired. I think bringing in a guy like Brant Boyer, I think that kind of helps the vibes of the special teams unit, or at least create some optimism amongst the fans. So I was excited to see really both of those hirings.
And I think improved units are expected. These are two really good coaches. I think the 49ers got better. And that's the march toward 2025 week one, is get better in as many spots as you can. I think the 49ers got better at special teams coordinator. 49ers got better at defensive coordinator. I want to talk more about Robert Sala now that has become official. We kind of knew it was coming mostly last time we recorded, Croc, but now it's officially official. Brant Boyer, though, I want to go a little bit more over Brant Boyer and his resume and why I think he is an upgrade for the San Francisco 49ers. And first of all, he's coached really good special teams units in the NFL for a long time. And he's been with the New York Jets for 9 years, and they've been among the better special teams units for most of that time. In fact, the last 2 years, they've been top 5 both seasons, according to DVOA. And so I think that's really important. And when you look at a longtime special teams coordinator who's been very good at his jobs, his units have been good, and then Robert Sala, who has worked with him. You know, if Robert Sala didn't like him, he'd be like, well, look somewhere else, Kyle, because I don't think Brant Boyer's that dude. It sounds like it's exactly the opposite, right? You're hiring Robert Sala, and he gave him that vote of confidence to bring him over. So I like the idea of he just worked with Robert Sala as a head coach, had good special teams units, and Sala can vouch for him, be like, yeah, Dad, this is the dude. He's going to come in. He's going to coach the heck out of the special teams units, and we're going to be good there. So I feel really good about the coordinator situation for the San Francisco 49ers. By the way, has the offensive coordinator become official? Clay Kubiak? I know they were trying to do a sham interview system there because they couldn't name him OC, but now all the jobs are gone, so he can't get really stolen anymore. So I don't know if they need to do, because I think the title of OC was kind of sham anyway, because he's not going to get to call plays anyways with Kyle Shanahan. They're just trying to keep him away from interviews.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that has made it, official that he is the offensive coordinator. But like you said, I don't think it changes much for the 49ers. We have been talking about Kyle Shanahan maybe delegating a little bit more certain opportunities or responsibilities as a head coach. I'm a new head coach. I know we'll talk about that in a minute as it pertains to Spags, but there's a lot that you're responsible for. Anything that happens as a head coach, guess who gets the phone call? Me. Now, when you're a coordinator, you're a position coach, you don't deal with those things. So I think the more that you are able to delegate, the more that you are able to take off of your plate, I think the better. And I just wonder what Kyle is asking of Kubiak. Is he saying, you know what? Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Paint this picture of how I need to call plays for the week. Let me handle this stuff, away, and then I'll, come through and like complete the game plan for the week. Is that something that they're doing? Right. I could see, let's say, office coordinator Eric Crocker. I could tell my guy, hey, watch this team. Tell me where they're weak at. Tell me what all their weaknesses are. Watch this defense on, first down. What do they like to do? Second down, key situations. Will you be more prepared for that corner blitz off the edge? More prepared than the Buffalo Bills were to head to the Super Bowl, right? That Spagnola dialed up that Chiefs corner blitz, and I think Buffalo was completely caught off guard, right? But seeing those things, different ways they may attack us, let me know, and I'll create a game plan around that. Is that what he's doing? Maybe that helps him be able to tend to some things away. So I haven't heard it be official yet. I haven't seen anything, but I like the thoughts of maybe, just kind of maybe knowing. I wish I could ask the question to Kyle.
Right.
What does exactly mean that this guy's office coordinator? How does that help you in any way?
Yeah, and does he have a chance now to meld the passing game and the run game together a little bit more, right? So instead of having, pass game coordinator, run game coordinator, if you're a pass game coordinator, are you stepping on toes if you're talking about the run game? So you're like hands off completely. So now you're able to be like, okay, well, let's set up this with this. This can work with this. And now you're kind of working on the entire game plan instead of just one side of the game plan, one element of the game plan. So again, questions I don't know that we can't answer about Clay Kubiak, but the coordinators are set for the San Francisco 49ers here going into the 2025 season. So far, the 49ers have upgraded, and it was two big pieces of business that needed to get done in the 2025 offseason. Hiring a defensive coordinator, Robert Sala coming back, hiring a special teams coordinator. Brant Boyer is now the guy, and I think the 49ers are in pretty good hands with those units. Now that you've had a chance to sleep on it with Robert Sala being official, do you have any different thoughts? And where's your head at with Robert Sala, what he's going to bring? Because the process was, I understand being like, yeah, process was weird. What's going on? Not interviewing anybody, but they got their number one guy and they got a better guy than they had. So it's a huge win, right? Even though the process was weird. And we talked about this a lot in past episodes and different subject matters. I remember talking about process versus results with Trey Lance, right? It's like Trey Lance may end up being good. He might be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but the process to get them there was weird. That was not right, and it turned out to be not right in the end, right? And the process was part of the reason why they ended up getting the pick wrong, I think. But it could have still gone well. The process was weird here, but I think they got the pick right, at least as right as they could have given the circumstances with Robert Sala.
Yeah, we talked about it heading into the weekend about, Robert Sala and being a coordinator, and it was something that was widely expected. And, I just would have liked to see them turn over all stuff. Like maybe you always land on Robert Sala. Maybe, you could, what is it, the butterfly effect, where you try to change certain different things, but you get like a similar outcome or whatever. Maybe it's always the outcome of Robert Sala will be your defensive coordinator. But I would have liked to see just different guys be interviewed, more guys be interviewed. Maybe go out of whatever you're comfortable with, right? Like, all right, Kyle, we know you're comfortable with Sala. We know Sala could be the guy. Okay, extend that offer to him or say, hey, we're likely going to go with you, but let me interview some other people just to see, is there anyone else that I feel like could potentially come in here and do a better job? And if I interview 5 guys, 6 guys, and I'm not feeling any of these guys, then you know that your initial thoughts of wanting Robert Sala was the correct one. But I don't know if they gave themselves that opportunity. Either way, I think this is something that because of some of the players that were there when he was coaching with the 49ers, I think they're excited about it. Fred Warner, saw him talk openly about it. I'm pretty sure Nick Bosa and those guys, they know him. They know him. They understand him. I think Kyle and the rest of the coaching staff, they know him, they understand him. And I think from that dynamic, I think it's going to work. So, I mean, or it gives it a good chance to be something that is successful, of course. Now, all coaches will tell you, yeah, the X's and O's are great, but it's always about the Jimmies and Joes. So you need guys to be healthy. You need guys to be making plays. You need guys to be disciplined. And maybe he's the guy that's going to help instill that kind of ability in this group. It wasn't too long ago. He was a part of a 49ers team that had like 5 takeaways over an entire season, which was like a record low for the team. But eventually he was the guy that helped them turn that around. And he's going to have to be the guy to get this ship back on track because you're going to need the defense not to be good for an entire game, but to be good at the right times. And I thought this year, more than any other time, whatever happened in games, they were bad at the wrong time to be bad. And I would like to see them improve on that.
Man, perfect segues, Croc, because those are the 2 next things I want to talk about as far as X's and O's and Jimmys and Joes, what we can learn from the AFC and NFC championship games. And we'll get into the chat a little bit as well next. Today's episode of Locked On 49ers brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. As a small business owner, your work is really never done. Even when the clock hits 5, your business is always on your mind, which means when it's time to hire, you need a partner that works just as hard as you do, someone you know you can count on after 5 p.m. every single day. That's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates all in one place. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights and a massively deep pool of potential candidates for your job at LinkedIn, even maybe some candidates that might not even be looking and not realizing, man, this actually is the perfect job for me. You can find candidates on LinkedIn you can't find anywhere else. And there's no wonder 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find high quality hires. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. I want to run this by you, Croc. Speaking of coaching, before we get a little more X's and O's before we get to Jimmys and Joes. I've been saying, look, I selfishly, just so we can try to break up the Kansas City Chiefs as much as possible. Mahomes not going anywhere. Andy Reid's not going anywhere while he's winning Super Bowls, right? You can't go trade for Chris Jones. So who could you steal away and try to break up this dynasty? Steve Spagnola. He's the best thinking defensive coordinator in the NFL. We've seen what he did to the Buffalo Bills. We've seen what he's done to the San Francisco 49ers twice in the Super Bowl. And he failed in a short stint as Los Angeles Rams head coach.
When was that?
So this was like Sam Bradford era, 2010, 2011. And he got the head coach job coming off winning Super Bowls with the New York Giants. The Eli Manning, first of all, I know you think Eli Manning is a sham Hall of Fame candidate. Steve Spagnuolo, NASCAR package, getting after Tom Brady, winning those Super Bowls, right?
Why does nobody talk about that? Like, they talk about, Eli Manning, he took down Tom Brady 2 times. It's like, dude, they scored 14 points. Like, you should, if you are on the offense, you should be able to win a Super Bowl where your defense allows 14 points to one of the greatest offenses ever. Just off of that alone, like, he single-handedly, matter of fact, he's to blame. He's sending Eli Manning to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
He's to blame for Hall of Fame quarterbacks, let alone championship defenses. Bad roster, bad team, whatever, with the Los Angeles Rams. There's been multiple occasions where head coaches got fired, came back to their second job, won Super Bowls. Perfect example, Bill Belichick, right? What if you're like, he sucked with the Browns, 5-11 Browns, got fired in 1996. He'll never get a head coach job. He's only a coordinator, right? And look, maybe Steve Spagnuolo would be a bad head coach, but man, the dude deserves it. The New Orleans Saints is the last open job. Saints need to do everybody a favor and hire Steve Spagnuolo as their next head coach. see if you can take one step toward breaking up these Kansas City Chiefs that just always have enough. They always have the right answers at the end of the games to win.
The fact that that job is still open on January 27th leads me to believe that they probably like someone out of these last two teams standing.
Yeah, or a guy who's just now available because he just got ousted, Joe Brady, offense coordinator for the Bills, who helped coordinate a championship caliber offense with the LSU Tigers down there in Louisiana. So if they go offense, probably Joe Brady is someone they're trying to talk to this week. And man, Steve Spagnola, though, man, he deserves a job, and just do a solid for the rest of the NFL as well, just to try to break up that Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones is like, as long as we have Steve Spagnuolo, we're going to be winning Super Bowls. He wasn't like, as long as we have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. He said, as long as we have Steve Spagnuolo, we're going to be winning Super Bowls. And he's a phenomenal coach. On that topic, some people have pushed back, and that's why I wanted to run it by you, Croc, because he's got the best defensive coordinator job in the NFL. And the idea is, he's only a coordinator, not a head coach. He doesn't even want a head coach job. He has it too good. He's winning rings as defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. What are your thoughts on that? Because you were an assistant coach, and you are now a head coach of a football program, Stag High in Stockton, California, right? And if I'm not mistaken, you like your job that you had before. It's not like you were going to move to make a lateral move somewhere, right? It's not like Steve Spagnuolo is going to go be defensive coordinator for somebody else. But head coach is different. Responsibility, that challenge of creating your own program, and money's a little different too, Croc.
Yeah, even as a high school coach, the money is a little different. The stipend's a little different as a high school football assistant, as opposed to
about a $10 million difference per year stipend in the NFL too. So that could make a difference. Like, hey, oh man, he doesn't want to go to a team with a bad quarterback. Hey, you want to go to a bad team with a bad quarterback? Here's $10 million extra a year that you're already making. Oh yeah, okay, that sounds good. I'll try to find a quarterback then.
Yeah, because if I get fired, guess what? I'm just going to be back at being the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. Yeah. So as far as people pushing back, and they did this with, shout out to Brendan Marion, who's doing a terrific job so far to start off his tenure as Sacramento State head football coach. He was an assistant, or he was the offensive coordinator over at UNLV. And when the hiring cycle started, a lot of people, I had the question, why is Brendan Marion's name never coming up as a head coach? Why is he not getting these opportunities? I've seen this guy work all the way from high school football coach, junior college coach. He had to be a coordinator at like an HBCU. Then he goes to this school and he's at a 1AA. Then he's a receiver coach he has been all over the map, right? Being a receiver coach and offensive coordinator. And he created an offense called the Go-Go offense. It's terrific and has this nice little intricate details with it. But it's like, well, when is he going to be a head coach? When is he going to get those opportunities? A lot of people said, well, he doesn't want to be a head coach. I've been in a position where being a head coach was not at the top of my priorities. All right. I love being an assistant coach. I love coaching with the guys I was with. A lot less on your plate. You show up, you do your job, coach your guys, have a good time with them, engage, but you don't have to worry about all the back end stuff. So being a head coach, and I think there are some people that they want to be head coaches so bad. I coach with some really great guys. Lavelle Hawkins played a bunch of years in the NFL. Desmond Bishop played a bunch of years in the NFL. Won the Super Bowl. Tim Brown, CFL legend. So I coach with some great guys that we just vibe together. And it's like, well, what's the point of leaving? So even when I was approached about being the head coach for the job that I did end up taking, initially, my thought and what I told them was, no, I'm cool. I love where I'm at coaching. Now, they presented something and they talked to me about what they were looking for, what they wanted to do, and how, I could help, kind of change the culture of the school as it pertains to the football team. And if the football team is good, everything else at the school ends up being good. And, they need to bring new energy and all these other things, right? Coach Norton, shout out to Coach Norton. He had been there for 40 years. So, they wanted to infuse some youthfulness and new ideas and see if you could bring a staff together to make this thing work, shake some stuff up a little bit, amongst other things. And it wasn't until, you walk, you meet some guys and it's like, you know what, this is intriguing. And all right, I'll interview for the job. And, obviously I ended up getting the head coaching job. But that's somebody who was not actively looking or searching to be a head coach. I wasn't on they have like these things where people are looking for head coaches at high schools. I never in a million years thought to look into any of those things. Well, I think Spagnola, I think he's good with where he's at. Well, why would I want to leave this great situation? I'm the defensive coordinator and coordinator only. I don't have to deal with the day-to-day stuff of, the personal side of things with the players and this and contracts and rosters and all that. I do my job, and he does that at a very high level with the players that he's given. And you're winning Super Bowls every year. And I think they're going to win the Super Bowl again. So why leave this situation? Well, if the right opportunity comes about and he sees New Orleans as an attractive situation and they go and talk to them, even though he's not thinking about it right now, that may be something that's definitely intriguing. And he sits down and he kind of likes the direction they're trying to head in. And that's something that can entice somebody who, again, is not even thinking about leaving. But man, that would be an awesome opportunity to, kind of come back to being a head coach again. I have, a lot more experience with coaching. I know all the things I would do differently. I've gotten to work under Andy Reid for all these years and see how he does things at a high level. And now create your own Kansas City Chiefs. And you'll never do it exactly like someone else did it, but being able to take those ideas, those thoughts, those principles, and be able to do it your own way. I think that's cool. And that's with me as a head coach here at Stagg High School now. A lot of the things that I want to, instill with the kids and the program and all those things. It's not like I didn't have the opportunity to do that at Edison, but just to be able to do everything your way, how you want to do it. It's pretty cool. So, you also have to live with whatever comes with that, good or bad. And if it's bad, you got to take that. And I think it's easier to take something that's bad when you did it your way. And hey, man, it didn't work, but you can always go back to being a coordinator or assistant, position coach.
Right. And then when you fail in New Orleans and then Robert Sala gets a head coach job, he can come back and be defensive coordinator of the 49ers. So that's all right. That'd be okay.
Right.
Next, I want to talk about the Jimmies and Joes, lessons that I learned from watching NFC and AFC championship football this weekend. Next. This episode of Locked On 49ers is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, two teams, endless possibilities, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook, especially if you don't want to root for the two teams that are playing on Sunday. You can root for your own pocketbook, and there's tons of ways, tons of props to play along with Super Bowl 59, whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss. FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action with live betting all game long. You can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field, and the app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets for the Super Bowl, that's icing on the cake. So download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, an official sports book partner of the NFL and official partner of Super Bowl 59. All right, Croc. So Steve Spagnola did a phenomenal job, as he has done, and dialed up some perfect calls at the perfect times at the end of that game. The Chiefs did defeat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, but man, the big thing I took away from that game is that the NFL, first of all, is so chaotic, but Josh Allen made some weird throws early in the game, but he didn't get penalized for them because they didn't turn into turnovers, but he forced some throws, right? Then at the end of the game, he made the play. He still, even with the pressure in his face, free rusher, he made the throw. He made the play, Croc, and his guy didn't come down with it. So in the end, it should have been a signature play in Josh Allen's career where we're talking about, man, look at this. And he made the throw and Dalton Kincaid catches it. And they either kick a field goal to tie it or they go down and score a touchdown and win the game. And the Buffalo Bills are in the Super Bowl. So he doesn't get credit for the great play he made, the throw he made, but he didn't get dinged for some of the turnovers. The guy who played last week did have turnovers in Lamar Jackson. But like Josh Allen at the end of the game, he did make some plays, and his tight end let him down. And the NFL is just wild. And you can have everything right, and it still doesn't happen. And I don't know how they do it. Spagnola's part of it. Andy Reid's part of it. Chris Jones, unblockable, is part of it. The Kansas City Chiefs always, those things go right for them. Like they create it somehow, because it can't be this much luck over and over and over and over again for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Man, you talk about some of those players, right? And even going back a week to Lamar Jackson and what that looked like. And a lot of people, they were putting that loss on Lamar. Oh, he turned the ball over. He fumbled. He threw a bad interception. I've always said a lot of it, right? It could be Jimmy Garoppolo. It could be Brock Purdy. It could be whoever, right? In this case, we're talking about Lamar Jackson. Things happen. Things don't, you're not going to play most of the time a perfect game, right? But can you overcome some of your mistakes that you made? And I think Jimmy Garoppolo was probably like an extreme version of that, where he would be the fire starter and then like, okay, let me put this fire out. And he did a good job of that most of the time. Sometimes the Super Bowl he didn't. All right. Brock Purdy, I kind of got on him this year with maybe not coming through in the clutch, because, you can throw me these numbers. You could say, EPA and turnover, all, I don't care. When it comes down to it, you lead your team and put them in the position to win the football game. And Lamar Jackson had a couple turnovers early in that game, whatever, because guess what? He did what great quarterbacks do, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to put us in position to win this game. Oh, man, you fumble? Come on, man, we're driving down the field. You fumble? All right, whatever, don't worry about it. Hey, can you guys force a field goal so I can lead us down and score a touchdown? Boom, leads them down the field. They score a touchdown, throws the 2-point conversion. It ends up getting dropped. That's unfortunate, hard to overcome. Josh Allen did a terrific job of, okay, have some balls get away from him, whatever. But man, I'm going to make it to where we have an opportunity to win this game. And I'm going toe for toe with Mahomes to have 29 points in regulation. It's like, man, I'm trying everything here. But there was a couple plays, not just that one. There was another one that I feel like you got to have this. And it was that 4th in the inches, and you get stuffed. And there's a lot of people, I see it up and down my timeline, people blaming the referees. Listen, if every time the Chiefs play a game and they win, and you got to blame the refs because of a call that didn't quite go someone, guess the other team's just not good enough. You can't leave these opportunities in the hands of the refs. If you get a full yard instead of half a yard, guess what? You don't make the refs, who are humans, have to make a decision on whether you got the first down or not. All right, so I put that on Josh Allen. Josh, you got to figure out a way to get that. Got it early in the game. They did a quarterback dive or they did an option, whatever, 4th and short. He picked it up a couple times. But when it mattered most, he didn't come through. But that would have been an amazing signature play if, with the pressure in his face, a terrific blitz off the corner, he throws the ball downfield and it goes off of Kincaid's chest. And we're talking about at a time where we can't overcome it now. We can't, or actually you could have. You could have stopped the Kansas City Chiefs in the defense then. You know why? Because Kansas City Chiefs is better than everybody else. So they had to throw the ball twice on that last drive. When everybody thought they were going to run the ball, milk the clock. No, we're going to put the ball in the hands of our quarterback. We're going to dial up some good plays, and we're going to be better than you. And they did it twice to end the game. Like, that's what winners do. They figure out a way to where I'm not going to leave it up to chance with anything else. I'm going to figure out a way to make the plays to put this game away. And Kansas City Chiefs did a great job of that. And they put Josh Allen away, who did not play a bad game.
They got closers. The 49ers didn't close games this year. There's a huge lesson from this weekend of football for me. The other thing is, and look, Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I think most people would say that Jalen Daniels, as a rookie, is a better quarterback. How do you beat the team that has a better quarterback on the other side? Dominate them up front, man. Saquon Barkley. Everyone's going crazy on my timeline about Saquon Barkley. Nobody touched dude until he's 15 yards down the field. Of course you're going to dominate. Of course you're going to make big plays, right? I had to look it up. The Eagles had twice as many yards before contact this year. Rushing the ball before contact, twice as many as league average. They had almost 2,000 yards before contact on the ground this season. League average is about 1,000 yards. There was a game where Saquon Barkley rushed for 255 yards in November. 213 of those 255 were before contact. Saquon Barkley was league average after contact this season. By far the best in the NFL before contact. Win up front, Niners. Get it fixed up front.
I'll tell you where it also helps the Philadelphia Eagles is when you fumble 3 times. Like now, Jaydon Daniels did not turn the ball over, right? So you got a rookie quarterback in this high pressure situation, and it felt like he was, between him and maybe Terry McLaurin, like the only guys that were really showing up and playing at a high level. The defense that the Washington Commanders displayed is like the defense that everybody thinks the 49ers have. Like it's like, bro, they're marching up and down. Let's put up what 47 points, 46 points, and on top of that, you fumble offensively 3 times. Man, Jaydon Daniels played a terrific football game. I feel like he did as much as you could ask of a young rookie quarterback coming in, and the turnovers, 3 fumbles, setting up short fields. At that's just too much. So you talk about special teams or just players letting down your quarterback. Even more so than the Buffalo Bills drop by Kincaid, which was huge. I mean, how the way that the Commanders team let down Jaydon Daniels, I thought that was terrible for the young guy.
He'll be back. They got a lot of work to do. They're way ahead of schedule there. I have a feeling Josh Allen's going to be back as well. And
are they? They're not. They don't have a lot. They don't have a loaded roster. Like they were able to be. They have a quarterback that was creating a lot of explosive plays, and they were able to be a little bit opportunistic because of it and converting on some 4th downs. But I don't think that team is good like that. So can you go out there?
The team is good because they got work to do. They'll be better.
They have a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
to get it there, and I think that will be more challenging to get back to this point where you have this kind of opportunity. Because you do it when your team isn't great. Like 49ers, typically they have a loaded roster to where it's like, they'll be back barring injuries, which we saw this season. But a team like Washington Commanders, they do not have the 49ers roster. So it feels like because Jaydon Daniels was so good that you'll see them get back. But I don't know. It might be one of those Dan Marino situations. Where Dan Marino early on, he went to a Super Bowl, and then it's like, what? Never again. It takes a lot to be good, and when you have a loaded roster, that's cool. But how can they continue to add to this roster this offseason? How much money do they have? All those things, but I don't think it's going to be easy because you have Jaydon Daniels at quarterback.
Right, it's never easy, and you could be better and not get as far. Right, because it's hard to get to the championship game, and as we've seen with the San Francisco 49ers. I do want to look in there's a lot of good stuff in the chat that are going to be covered in future episodes of Locked On 49ers. We're out of time today, but talking about some players bringing over from the New York Jets potentially to add to Robert Sala's defense. Talking more about Robert Sala's defensive scheme. What the 49ers can do to continue to get better there. Has the league figured out what the 49ers are doing on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, since it's no secret anymore? What kind of things they're doing on both sides of the ball? Of course, NFL draft. We got more prospects coming up as well as we try to build our draft board for the San Francisco 49ers at pick 11, pick 43, and beyond in the NFL draft. So much to come. So appreciate everybody. Hit that subscribe button so you can hang out for those episodes. Let us know if you have any topics you want us to hit in the YouTube comments or at BD Peacock, at Crocky209, and we'll be back tomorrow right here. Locked On 49ers.